Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy came home.
And now here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Springer.
Please, don't get up. Don't get up, please. Please. Yeah. Hey,
you know, coming down here, driving down, and even as you came into the room, the whole feel is different. The tone, you even look kind of ashen. Did something happen that
More so than usual.
that you feel you want to talk about or should talk about?
well, I just want to get it off my chest, but it was unsettling, to be honest. It was, on Mondays and Tuesdays, I do my show in Connecticut. Well, that's unsettling in itself, doing my show. But the rest of the week, I'm on the road hosting The Price is Right, and we do it in cities around the country, in theaters and casinos. Anyway, so this past weekend, Saturday, I did the show in Albuquerque, and Sunday night, I did it in El Paso. The show ends at about 10 o'clock at night. I run to the airport, get on my plane, and 10:30 is already half past midnight on the East Coast, and it's a 4-hour flight till I get to Connecticut. And I landed actually in White Plains, New York. So at 4 in the morning, and I'm tired, you know. So at 4 in the morning, the plane lands. The airport is barren. Obviously, 4 in the morning, there are no flights. We land, open the door on the plane, and as I step off,
This is a private jet.
yeah,
Okay.
and it's a private airport.
Yeah, we're not in a commercial situation here.
Oh, you don't have your own plane?
No.
Loser.
You know the holidays are coming up
Yeah.
here.
Okay. So I get off the plane, and as soon as I step out on the steps there, 8 to 10, maybe 12, who was counting? Police cars surround the plane, the lights going, the sirens. People come out with their guns and dogs.
Oh, my God.
And I figure,
This is not a joke. This
I'm not
actually
joking.
happened.
This is I swear to God, this happened. So I get off,
did you do?
and I said, "What the?" You know, and then the cops, they saw who they recognized me. So they say, "Oh, sorry, Mr. Springer, but if you just step over there." So it wasn't like, "Oh, we're sorry, we made a mistake." No, it's a sorry. Could you step over there? So I stepped there, and then VJ and Danny, the pilot and co-pilot. The three of us are standing there. VJ's getting ready to do one of his Obama jokes, and I said, "Not a good time. Just stop.
Can it?
Just be quiet." And so we're standing there, and they have dogs, and they're sniffing around, and then they say, "Who owns the plane?" I said, "I did." They said, "Is it okay? Do we have permission to go on the plane with with the dogs or whatever?" So what am I going to say? No, that's not going to end well. So I said, "Sure." And so they went on. They're on there honestly for 15 minutes. And they don't tell you what they're doing. And, I'm totally innocent of anything. And, I'm thinking drugs.
Right.
Not a bomb. I'm thinking they're looking for drugs. And, I never touch this stuff. So I'm innocent. But it's interesting. Even if you're totally innocent, when you see all those cops being real serious and they've got the guns and they got the dogs, you start to think, what have I done? I must have done something. Because you never believe. Yeah, and I was really nervous. And I'm thinking, I couldn't have done anything wrong this time. So, and then they, for 20 minutes, are sniffing around. Then they made us open up our case, because the dog is sniffing around, apparently for drugs. And then they told me to open my brown bag.
Whoa.
And the only thing they found was my Metamucil.
Oh, no.
The dog found my Metamucil.
Sorry.
How embarrassing.
So bad.
Yeah, I would have rather it had been a drug.
Yeah.
Springer arrested.
Can you imagine the cops all going back to the beat now? Hey, let me tell you what Springer had. Yeah.
That's all they
Thank God they didn't find my Depends. But anyway, the story ends up, but they never tell you. They never tell you what it was. And here's what our theory is. And after I talked to some other police officers the next day, we landed. Every night, I'm in a different city with a plane, and the last place I came from that evening was El Paso, which is on the Mexican border.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, the hotel I was staying at the end of the street was the gate where you walk into Mexico. So they're probably thinking that maybe, and I think so naive. I don't even know what the term. I didn't know what the term was, but apparently they thought maybe I was the mule.
You were the mule. Yep.
Yeah. In
Wow.
other words, some guys up to no good down there when I'm not watching the plane. I'm doing a show. The plane's just sitting there. Someone could put stuff on our plane, hide it on the plane, and then when you land in White Plains, some other guys that are involved, they pick it up. I mean, that's how they transfer their drugs. So that's what I'm thinking happened. But it is, honestly, it is a scary notion.
Hell,
You-
yeah.
You know, I don't know if you read the book Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, but there is a pressure.
That's
There
exactly
is a
what came
theory
to my
there.
mind as I'm standing there at 4 o'clock in the morning.
There's
Is there
also something
anything
called
you
karma.
want to tell us, your
Yeah.
friends Megan and me, and the whole
Yeah.
country about anything?
No. That's the easy answer.
Yeah, for sure. No,
But I did ask that question to VJ as we're standing there.
Anything I need to know?
I did. I said that. I swear to God. I said to VJ, and I wasn't joking. I said, seriously,
he's
you
a
live
great
your own life, but is there anything we should know? I should know in terms of what they're going to ask.
you
me
don't
that's
have
on
to
the
worry
plane.
about VJ or Danny.
No,
right? Those
fine.
guys
Yeah.
are-
Now you're the
right.
hero saying that
No.
into the mic. But
Hey,
anyway,
wait a second, David.
We got a call from Senator Tip Kemper.
Oh my
You're
God,
kidding.
it's
Not-
bad.
From that
No.
state senator guy?
Yes. Would
so
you guys mind
weird.
taking a phone call?
Oh
we
my
have to.
gosh.
well, okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll go. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take it.
this
but
guy is a nut job.
Well, for those that hadn't heard,
Yes.
remember
Oh,
his
yeah,
what
he's-
was his last idea?
Last one was the Everybody Swims, where everybody who had a pool in the United States had to allow inner city children to be bused to their pool, and then
Right.
then they would get a voucher, and so essentially
Yeah.
people were entertaining.
And you had to if you owned a pool
above
you,
or in ground.
You had to permit 10 kids from the inner city to swim in your pool, and you had to provide them with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich
And a towel.
And a towel.
Yes, and his one before that was Read Write, where everybody in the United States had to read a book and write a book report on it or be fined.
And hand it in at the local post
And
office.
hand it in at the
you had
local
to
post
You had to read one book a month.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
American had to
this
read
guy
one.
he's a nitwit.
Thanks for calling.
Well, thanks for taking my call. I always appreciate it. You're one of the few podcast people willing to put me on the air, and I appreciate it. But look, I'm calling with something that's very serious. There are statistics from the Department of Transportation
Yeah.
that show that 62% of fatalities with automobiles are caused by people making left turns in front of traffic. So I'm pushing forward a bill, the state senator Tip Kemper, no left turn bill.
Yeah, that's not gonna.
No one would be permitted to make a left turn. You would have to reach your destination
But what
through
if
a
this?
series of right-hand turns.
What if you happen to live on the left, down the block on the left-hand side?
Then you turn around and come back on the right hand side.
But what if it's a one-way the other way?
No, let's ask.
You
the
don't
senator.
ever get home. Senator, have you thought this through?
Well, see, Mr. Springer, you always, when I call, want to flash your law degree and try to
Oh,
outsmart
you're
a
fancy
state
learning.
senator. And I really hadn't considered that, to be honest.
So you're saying it would be illegal to make a left-hand turn?
Right, I think we could save a lot of lives that way. But, Mr. Springer, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I go to your website a lot, and I know that you have a promotion going where somebody's going to be selected to date Marilyn.
No.
Megan.
Megan.
Yeah.
Yes. I was just wondering if maybe I could be considered for
No.
that. And I
But
would
wait a
appreciate-
second. Why are you
No.
calling?
No,
I
he
thought you're
cannot.
calling on no left turns. You're calling because you want to date with Megan? What am
Senator.
I?
Mr. Springer.
Come on
I've
now,
been married.
Senator.
I've been married 4 times, and the 4 women that I've been married to are.
Do you know
well,
Kim
basically-
Davis?
We've got the perfect.
Well,
lady
I
for you,
actually
Senator.
think she's rather fetching. I've seen her on the television.
Oh my. Okay, well, I don't think that we have anything else to talk to him about. Jerry.
Megan, this is
No,
a senator.
no,
This
no,
senator
no,
looks
no,
good
no.
on your resume.
No, 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 no,
Have you
no.
ever been out with a senator?
I have not.
That you want to talk about?
No,
We could be making news
we
right
could
here.
be right now. As much as I appreciate the compliment, Senator Tip Kemper, please don't call me anymore.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's going to work, Senator.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
good luck on your bill. Have you found anyone who supports it in the Senate?
Well, not yet, no, but I'm making calls around. I want to thank you for the call, and Miss Megan, there's really no reason for an injunction. Please don't No reason to talk to any attorney.
Do we know what cease and desist means, sir? Can we just go ahead and leave it at that? And we'll just.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Jeez, old Pete.
I mean, honestly,
He sits around all day, just writes these harebrained ideas, calls. Do you think he's calling into other podcasts and radio shows pitching this stuff too?
I know. Well, as he said, no other
Nobody else
podcast would
is
take in the
taking-
calls.
We're the only ones.
Gives you an
We gotta
idea
work
of where
that-
we
on
are
that
on the
screening
list.
Process a little stronger.
Did you hear that, Gene? That guy is. I mean, he's
That
nuts.
guy's nuts. Hey, I wanted to ask you something. When I saw that John Boehner is resigning from the speakership and is not
Yes.
going to run for Congress the next go round, I thought of the truth of something that you had done relative to John Boehner. And I thought, what the heck? You got a podcast, pull the curtain back and let people know some things and see how the process works. The fact of the matter is, about 2 years ago, so this is in real time, this is recent times.
Yeah, about
you,
2.5 years. Yeah,
2.5 years ago?
yeah, it was right because Mike was still around. So I'd say it was early 2013.
And you gave consideration, you gave a serious look, though hardly anybody knew it, of moving back to Cincinnati, where you have a long history as a politician and as a news anchor and as an entertainer as well, of running against John Boehner in Ohio's 8th district. I know this because you have a small political team. It was Mike Ford, God rest his soul, wonderful close friend of yours and of mine, and he was your political guru your whole life from the time that you first ran for Congress and a whole series of runs, a lot of successful runs. So Mike Ford, I know, worked on this. You did a little research. You and I drove around the district to see the counties.
How this all came about is it was right after, it was over the Christmas holidays of the year before, a few months earlier. It was, and I got an email from the then chairman of the Ohio Democratic Party, Chris Redford.
Right.
And out of nowhere, he sent me an email, said if I would consider running at the time against John Boehner. And initially, it didn't make any sense because, first of all, it is one of the most Republican districts in the country, much less Ohio. And secondly, he's Speaker of the House. So it would be a fool's errand, I thought, to even run against him. His theory was, well, it's in the Cincinnati area, and I have somewhat of a base. So I could make a race of it where maybe a traditional Democrat wouldn't. And even if I didn't win, it may force him to spend some money, the state party to spend some money, which would be taken away then from money they would spend in other races. So that was the theory. Personally, well, there's not a day in my life I don't think, oh gosh, I would, the greatest job I ever had was being mayor. And, the idea that one day to be in Congress or the Senate, I think about it all the time so that people close to me, as get sick and tired of me always talking about it, thinking about it. So sure, if God came to me and he said, you no longer have any responsibilities to anybody, just do exactly what you want and don't care about anything else, well, yeah, then I would pursue that, win or lose. But I hadn't yet had an extension on my contract for the show. So it was still possible to look for what will I be doing in my later years, and being in Congress sounded like great. When we went around the district, one, it is hopelessly Republican. Secondly, even if, the people that would tell me to run were right, and by some miracle, I could have beaten John Boehner, which I don't think I could have. His resources, Speaker of the House, would be unending. He'd never run out of money, okay? So even if it were possible, I remember the discussions, and I remember even not arguing with Mike, but telling him, I say, look, if John Boehner gets defeated, the Republicans are still going to control Congress, and they will choose a new speaker, and the new speaker will be more conservative than Boehner, which is exactly what's going to happen now.
Yep.
So there's no benefit. Who benefits other than I have a job I really like, which isn't a reason to have public service. So that's why the decision ultimately was no. And then when the issue was raised last week in roll call and the
roll call
Associated Press
contacted you,
some
and
newspapers, et cetera. Yes, and they said your name has come up. Would you consider running? And I said I don't live in Ohio. So it's not even an issue today. I live in Sarasota, so it's not even an issue. My life has moved elsewhere. I'm still very active politically and in the party, and give money and give speech and do all that. That is my passion in life, other than family, is politics, and the liberal politics and the Democratic Party. So I'll continue to be active, but I don't need to run for office. That is totally self-serving I want an office. What is that going to make me rich? Is it going to make me famous? I mean,
Let me ask you one other question, and we're real excited because we have Anna and Elizabeth tonight, who are some really special performers from Virginia and Maryland. But before we turn to them,
Yes.
let me ask you one other question relative to the Boehner situation. As a political analyst, and you are that, whether you want to be or not, you're very good at it. So what do you think it means that Boehner, do you assume that Boehner got pushed aside? And if so, why? And what does that mean, good or bad, for the country?
Well, there's a civil war going on in the Republican Party. There is no question he got pushed aside. That doesn't mean if he chose to fight that he could still get enough votes to hang on. He could have hung on, but he'd be totally without power, as he's been in the last 2 years, because the Republican Party is divided, and they can't put together enough votes to override the president. So, he's weakened. But interestingly enough, this civil war that's going on in the Republican Party between the establishment Republicans and the Tea Party types, the right wing, is that, in a sense, Mitch McConnell brought it on himself, and now he's going to be the next target. The day after Barack Obama was elected president, or the day after he was sworn in, so it was the 21st of January, 2009, there was a dinner held in Washington, hosted by Mitch McConnell, where he said to the rest of the leadership, "We will block anything that President Obama does. That is our mission. We want him to fail." That was the quote.
Yep.
And it was recorded, and it's been reported, undeniable. In fact, Mitch McConnell doesn't deny it, because there was a tape of it. He said, "We will block anything the president does. We want him to fail. We have to win the next election." So what he did is created or gave impetus to the movement of let's vote no on anything the administration proposes. That gave impetus to the right wing that believes in no government, believes in blocking anything the government does. And that's why they can't even, or they had trouble passing a bill just to keep, they were willing to shut the government down. The American government, they were willing to shut it down because they wanted to get their one issue through. And now, so Mitch McConnell can't get anything done. And now they're going to go after him. He created this monster, and now they're going to go after him. And I think they may wind up being successful, but the Republican Party is destroyed in terms of what it wanted to be. It is two separate parties. It is the establishment party, which is economic. They are concerned about their money, but they realize they are the party of the rich. But they realize there are not enough rich people in America to win an election. So the way the establishment rich party gets the rest of the people to vote for them is to go cultural. And so ever since Nixon, or later Reagan, they have reached out to the people that aren't rich, but get them on cultural issues. And the trade-off is join our party, support us on our tax policies, which will let us be rich, and we will support you on gay marriage, on abortion, on religion, on all these cultural issues. And that's how the Republicans have managed to win the House and win the Senate, is because culturally, for 20, 30 years, America has been, or poor people that, or middle-income people that you would think economically should be Democrats. And we Democrats are always asking, why are these people voting with the Republicans against their interests? It's because they're with them on the cultural issues. Well, now what is happening, the reason there's a civil war in the Republican Party, the wealthy establishment Republican Party, the people on the top, could not deliver on the cultural issues. They've lost on gay rights. They've lost on Planned Parenthood. They've lost on all these liberal issues. And so now all of a sudden, these angry people that are going for Trump are suddenly saying, wait a second, don't come and talk to us, Mitch McConnell. Don't come and talk to us, wealthy Republican senators. You haven't given us anything. We hate all of government. We're ready to shut everything down. So what we're seeing is the end of the Republican Party as we've known it. That doesn't mean that they won't win the next election. They won't win as long as the Democrats don't blow themselves up. But if we can stay true and not have any major scandals or something like that, we ought to have a Democratic president
You're sitting in Kentucky. Would you announce your candidacy against Mitch McConnell?
And so I am announcing today. But I think they're going to go after McConnell. I really do. He may hold on, but he's on a short leash.
Yeah.
All right, we have tonight with us Anna and Elizabeth, and we're excited about this because they come with great reputations and
you have a great reputation. You can't be here.
Yeah, we better go.
You're on the Jerry Springer show.
So Anna, you are from the Baltimore area?
That's where I live, yeah.
Okay, and Elizabeth from Virginia, correct?
Yeah, a small town called Rural Retreat, Virginia.
Do a song, and then we want to ask you a bunch of questions about,
about the song.
what you guys do, about the song, and a lot of other stuff.
This is one called Going Across the Mountain, and it's a song we learned from a recording of a fella who lived in Beech Mountain, North Carolina. And he said this was a story about his ancestor who marched north from North Carolina to fight in the Union in the Civil War. Across the mountain, oh, fare you well. Going across the mountain, hear my banjo tell. I got my rations on my back, my powder it is dry. I'm going across the mountain to join the boys in blue. When the war is over, I'll come back to you. I'm going across the mountain if I have to crawl. I'll give old Jeff's men little my rifle ball. Oh, way before it's good daylight, if nothing happens to me. Oh, I'll be way down yonder in old Tennessee. I expect to miss me when I'm gone, but I'm going through. When the war is over, I'll come back to you. Going across the mountain, oh, fare you well. Going across the mountain, oh, fare you well. Going across the mountain, oh, fare you well. Going across the mountain, oh, fare you well.
Whoa. Great.
That's wonderful. I should say that until you, Megan and Jerry, this afternoon, I came down to the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky, and I got to say it again. This place is evolving
So cool.
as an amazing place, and one of the reasons is this afternoon at 4:30, Anna and Elizabeth did a harmony workshop here.
There
So
were a
there
lot of
were-
people singing in this room earlier.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And this room had 20, 25 people in a big circle, and these ladies were basically teaching how to do harmony. And there were good singers in the room.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
There
Yes,
were great
indeed.
singers in the
It
room.
sounded
Really cool.
fantastic.
Can you teach bad singers to do harmony?
Yes, we can.
Well, part of
How
it.
bad? How bad?
Yeah, how bad?
We'd love to learn how.
We would really love to learn.
Now, here's something else about them, and I'd like you guys to talk about this for a second, if you would.
Shoot.
Because they also did a concert here in the back behind the Folk
In
School
the
Coffee
garage.
Parlor in
Right
the
before we
garage.
started,
Again,
yeah.
this place, if everybody listening, if you're coming through the Midwest, the Cincinnati area, you've got to stop here. This place is special. So you guys do a thing called crankies.
We do. A cranky is an old form of moving picture.
Entertainment.
It evolved from a fad 150 years ago, and they're large. Back then, there were large oil paintings, and you'd put it like there's one 1,000 feet long and 8 feet tall, and you put it in this frame, and you would tell a story or to give a lecture, and you would scroll it around. And people would use that to talk about big adventures. Or actually, there's one that a politician commissioned in.
In
he was.
Atlanta.
This is yeah. So he was fought in the Battle of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then he was like I'm a hero, and so he commissioned these painters to make this giant. It's the largest oil painting in the world,
And that
it was the
was-
size of a football field, and it took 300 horses to bring from one place to another.
And that was his like campaign for running for office.
So instead of TV ads, he had this
this is how great
giant
I
painting, this panoramic painting.
So
That was an old
think
theater
of
show,
that?
too.
yeah, but the ones that we make are
Ones we make are 18 inches tall.
yeah, they're not 8 feet, and they're not political.
They're
they
the parlor
illustrate
version.
they illustrate sometimes oral histories and sometimes old ballads from the
Traditional
mountains
songs.
that we
So
do.
if there's an old English ballad, let's say, or an old mountain
yeah.
song that
Yeah.
moved from the Isles to America,
To here, yeah.
you guys are artists as well. You do the
Yeah, we
illustrations,
illustrate
Yeah.
them
and then
together.
you backlight it,
Yeah, so
and
it's
then
like
you turn this
shadow
crank, and
puppet
the
show.
and the story is scrolled
so
across in this
Yeah,
frame.
it's super lo-fi.
Ah, it's amazing.
It is. They use that in theater a lot too. It's a really cool technique.
Yeah.
I love
it's
that.
it's surprising how captivating it is,
Yeah.
given
Yeah.
how lo-fi.
So, and you'll go into schools with these, or do you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like, of course kids love them, but adults turn into kids and then love them.
Yeah.
while they
Nice.
see them.
Now, we
What
should
a
also
unique
say,
niche.
you guys have a really, I give you high praise. You have a great reputation. You've been on NPR's Tiny Desk Concert. You're coming up on Mountain Stage, another NPR show in the fall, correct?
We're just NPR fiends.
Yeah, there you
But it
go.
is
Well,
cool.
we are as well. And you're kind of musicologist, aren't you? I mean, you really study this.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah,
I mean, we definitely
could be called
we're
folklorists,
scholarly-ish.
but we do research. We like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's a big
Because
source
it's
for us.
it's old.
You mean
we're not,
you know what you're talking about? What's,
We know
what's
you
that
don't
like?
know what that feels like.
What does that
That's
feel
why we're
like?
not going to become politicians.
Yeah. Hey, easy.
Knock it off, peanut gallery.
And the harmonies you do are fantastic.
They
Can
really
we
are.
hear another one?
Sure.
Do another
Yeah.
song, thanks.
This is one actually from, it's kind of local, and it mentions Columbus, Ohio. And it's a song that a great all-female string band played in Kentucky. They were called the Coon Creek Girls, and in 1938 they were invited by the president at the time, Roosevelt, to visit the White House on the occasion of the King and Queen's visit.
Nice.
And so they, as a band, they went from Kentucky to D.C., and this is one of the songs that they sang.
One morning in May, I spied a young couple who wandered away. One was a lady as fair as can be. The other was a soldier, and a brave lad was he. Said the soldier to the lady, "Oh, where are you going?" "Just down by the orchard, just down by the tree, just down see the waters gliding, hear the nightingale sing. They had not been there, not an hour or two, till from his satchel a fiddle he drew. He played a message that made the hills ring. Hark, hark, said the lady, hear the nightingale sing. Said the lady to the soldier, will you marry me? Oh no, cried the soldier, that never can be. I have a wife in Columbus and children twice three. One wife is a plenty, too many for me. Young lady, take a warning by me. Don't place your affection on a soldier so free. Don't place your affection on a soldier so free. You'll be deceived like mine has done me.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Love your
That-
harmonies.
That's
Gorgeous.
Anna and Elizabeth, and their website
Yeah,
is annaandelizabeth.com.
Yep.
And by the way, during your harmony workshop, I loved how you guys talked about how two voices, when you're doing two-part harmony, you got to meet each other with equal power coming
Yes.
from both sides. One can't dominate the other.
Right.
And you guys have been singing harmony together for how long?
About 4
4
or 5
years.
years.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet? Did you go to school
Well, we were
together?
both living in Southwest Virginia in little
Yeah.
towns, and there's not always a lot of other young people playing music, especially young women. So when we met, we kind of gravitated towards each other. Just, you know, we shared a lot of ideas about
New friend who likes songs.
Yeah.
How long was it before you knew that you had two voices that really fit
Well,
together
we
nicely?
started designing our show like right after we met. So
Really?
we knew, you know, a lot of this music is like what is our heritage as Americans, or you know, what can you learn from the old people around you? You know, I think our culture now is really segregated by age a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And as young people, you're only around young people, and you don't.
Well, we appreciate you talking
That's
to
why-
us.
no, that's actually why we're on the show right now.
Trying to bring in a
But you know what I
demographic
mean?
here.
So I think.
Why did you say?
But I think that you know, so when we met, we started talking about that, like how do you engage people in this old music, and kind of in celebrating, you know, trying to figure out where we come from and how we got to where we are now.
Well, that's so much a part of this kind of music to begin with. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
concept of folk music is the music of the people talking about their lives and what it's been
Exactly.
like.
It's
you know.
Something that's passed on. Yeah.
I like having the women in it too. Like we hear I mean, not that the men aren't fantastic. We've had some
Right.
fantastic groups
Yeah.
on here. They're great.
That's true.
But I love your voices mixed so
Thank
beautifully together.
Thank
It's
Yeah, and the next thing you're going to
different
want to
sounds.
give women the boat.
Oh,
I don't even think that's worth joking about, honestly.
thank you.
Now, see, Anna, I agree with that.
I'm calling bullshit.
Thank you.
Well,
by
I
the
have
way-
been put in my place.
Yes, you have, sir. I like her.
It is.
Can we keep her? Can we keep her?
And it's so neat to see young
Yeah.
people, and as
Yeah,
Megan
I-
says, young women
There's a
who
new
are.
explosion, I would say. that
Yeah,
has
there
happened
is,
in the
isn't
last-
there?
And I've connected to some of the the movies about it. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I
Yeah,
think
it's
kick-started a lot of it. And
Yeah.
I think with people our age in their 20s, there's like all of a sudden, I think most of us started 8 years ago about, and there's just all of a sudden it was the people who are a little older than us were like, I thought there wouldn't be any young people, and then all of a sudden,
Everyone was
Yeah.
like, we need some grit
I
and
need a banjo
simplicity
in my life.
right now.
Have you heard of a group called Mountain Men? 3 women?
Mountain Man, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
from Vermont.
That's correct. And I
Yeah.
wondered if, since you guys do what you do, there
Yeah.
are similarities, are there not, with
Yeah.
what they're doing?
Totally.
Okay.
There are
Curious.
similar, yeah, singing ladies.
Would,
We are ladies. That's
yeah.
That's two similarities right there.
job,
Other
Gene.
similarities, of course.
Hey, by the way, and I've heard others at Folk School Coffee Parlor who know
Yeah.
more about the younger form of folk music than I do, but you guys really have a shot, and I don't know if this is your goal.
We're
of
here. We've
really,
arrived on the
no.
Jerry Springer show.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. Does it get any bigger than this?
Come on.
Good Lord.
We're gonna retire after tonight.
This is our last thing. This is
Put
the
this
peak.
on your resume, and that'll,
At the top.
You can rattle off some names like Gillian Welch or even Emmylou Harris, people who've been around for a while, Alison Krauss, etc. You guys are that tight and good that I'm wondering if as time passes, and do you hold that as a goal that you'd like to?
Well, I'll tell you a very short story, which is that I was in an archive in Berea and listening to the story of a woman who lived near Covington, actually, named Blanche Coldiron, and she went on tour when she was 15 back in the 30s, and they used to tour all of the small towns in Kentucky. They were on the radio in Lexington, and then they would go town to small town and play, and people would gather at the like schoolhouse, and they would pack the schoolhouse. That story means a lot to me because I think you get that a lot where people are like, oh, are you trying to make it? And I think in a really global world, people think like success is like, well, if you become wicked famous and you're on all this national stuff, which is obviously awesome to have that platform, but this idea of like that every time you play music for someone who needs it, that's why we do
That's
what we
success.
do every day. And
Yeah,
That
that's
is
a great
success for
definition
us.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
and
for
thinking
you.
Well
about
put.
Good for you.
Well, speaking of old time music, would you take us out on Irene Goodnight?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll try to carry you
What
guys.
key do you do it in, Jerry?
L sharp.
L sharp.
Yeah.
Oh, my guitar doesn't have that many frets.
On L sharp. I think D for David. Is
D
it?
for David.
For David.
I think
Sure.
that's the
D
key.
for Democrat.
There we go.
Oh. See, there's no R key, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be off key.
Oh, sorry.
Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Stop rambling. Stop your gambling. Stop staying out late at night. Go home to your wife and your children and stay by your fireside at night. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.
Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Irene, good night.
Irene, good night.
You've been listening to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery, recorded live at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky. Thanks to Patrick Kennedy for writing our opening song, and to you for listening. Check out our website at jerryspringer.com.
Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.
Y'all come back now.